What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends, and let's get into it. All right, it is the 8th day of July, and here we are at about 107.8K, moving down a little bit here. Not a lot of volume on the way down, but more volume than we had on the way up. And we got 22 hours left in the day, you guys. I must admit that I was thinking we'd go a little bit higher on this move here. We did bounce at 107.5K, which was a target area that we had in mind. I still am anticipating that we go below this low, but just stopping here between the 382 and the 0.5 like that, it's not really too common. But we're on the 15-minute time frame. If you look at it on the 1-hour time frame, we wicked above it, closed below. So this is actually a pretty common reaction. And then the reaction we're having now on this 1-hour candle, it makes me think that we're going to go lower. We're going to get into that, but you can see here you're moving down with a lot of volume. You moved up, and this is the one thing that kind of worried me for the price, was that we moved up without volume. Sometimes we do that, and then we like really start to build right here. You're moving up, there's no volume at all, and then boom, then you blow up, right? Sometimes that happens, and I was kind of expecting that to the golden ratio. We couldn't even do that. We stopped in a relatively obscure area, prior resistance right here, and just immediate rejection. This, my friends, is what they call a bull trap. And trap the bulls it did indeed. Okay, if we're looking at this on the liquidation map, refresh this here real quick over the last 30 days, we can see that, you know, the hot zones over here for liquidating any shorts that are active right now that have accumulated, the peak of this over here, let's see, even right here, to get to $1.16 billion in cumulative short liquidations, okay, that's at 110,000. We're at 107.8, so you got to go up about $2.2 thousand to get to 1.6 billion. What if we went down $2.2 thousand? 2.2 thousand to the downside would be 105.6K. We got $3.5 billion, right? This alone is not a good way to look at things, but there's definitely a lot of longs. There are a lot of shorts as well, and I'm sure we're going to clean them both out, but oftentimes before we pump, we get a little dump. That's just kind of what happens. So I really wouldn't be thrown off or surprised by that at all. Looking at this here on the 15-minute time frame, moved up with purpose. You broke out of your downward trend. You had a downward trend, you substituted it for a sideways trend, and then you actually turned it into an upward trend, but rejected the overbought zone hard, man. Super hard. 1-hour time frame, if we're looking at this here, rejected the 50. That's not a good look in itself. Likely, and I think that we're still actually in this downtrend here in the RSI as well. I didn't draw that line the best here. Let me show you. Right? Something like that. We're in this downtrend in the RSI. Lower highs, lower lows, that whole thing. We're probably going to go into the oversold zone. I think what we'll see is one drive into the oversold zone, come up for air, probably find more resistance right in that area, reject the 40, come down to the oversold zone again. Maybe we bounce right off it or just into it. We get a higher low with a lower low in the price. So what I'm expecting to happen today, the 8th, at least, would be that we get this first low. But I think there's enough time in the day where we will resolve this move. So we'll probably find support. I don't know, man. We could find, with how far away we are in the RSI, we really could find support below this low. It might be somewhere down to like 106K, something like that. And we'll go over those targets in a second. For the first low, but then the next low should be a little bit lower, at least on a closing basis. It should be lower. Let's look at this from a high to, or a low to a high here. Low to a high here. Typically this is a pretty small retracement, so typically with these small retracements you can see deeper extensions. I'm not necessarily expecting that, but 106.5 to 105.7, somewhere in this area right here, the 1272 to the 1618. I don't know why it dipped so much. If we're looking at this here for what it is, what we've got going on right here, I think this looks a lot like a bear flag, right? It's like a bearish hockey stick is what it looks like, right? You've got the flag pole right here, or the stick, and then you've got the, I don't know what that is, but the part that slaps for the hockey stick. Somebody from Canada, tell me, man, what's the, is that the shaft, and then what's that called? The part that hits the, I'm going to call it the spanker or the slapper. I don't know. Let's see, from a low to a high, and then you measure it right here. This is how you would measure a bear flag, if this is a bear flag. That measure move should take you right there, which is at about 106.35K. Low to high here, That's right below your 1272, 1414 area right there. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if we went down below 106K, but something lower. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. We're moving down with a purpose. We've got 1 minute left in this 1 hour time frame. I will say, just like we moved up here and we didn't have a lot of volume, we're moving down now and we don't have a lot of volume. As long as we are still above this 236 right here, different fibs, different time frames, low to high. Nope, that was not the low. This is the low, low to high. As long as we're above the 236, we're not necessarily guaranteed to go down. Nothing's a guarantee anyways. But typically, you don't really find like one support, two support, then three support, the 3 times of support, iterations of support at the 236, and then you bounce from there and go higher. Typically, I mean, the more that you find support at an area, the more it weakens, and likely we will break through the next area here being at 105.6K. If we look at the high here to a low there, again, measuring with this, we would go just above the 382, and that's not common, but Bitcoin, for it not being common, Bitcoin has actually done this exact thing like multiple times over the past month or so. So it's possible. It's possible that we do find support at like 106.3K. And then if we look again at the liquidation map over the last 30 days for Binance, OKX, and Bybit here, you know, 100 and what is it? Sorry. Most of this like first initial peak is at about 106.6K. So 106.6, that right there, that measure moves at about 106.2. Typically, whenever you liquidate these levels, these high hot levels here, you push through a little bit more. Typically, doesn't mean we have to, but typically. We very well could go, I mean, even lower than that. It's possible, you guys. I know that Trump announced that, or maybe not Trump, but we're going to put tariffs, 25% tariffs, I think, on Japan and Korea, right? Which is a pretty big deal because those are kind of like, I feel like, economic partners of ours. So that could be a big deal. And maybe it's just going to shake up the market for a day or two, and then things are fine the next day. You know, this is kind of how it goes. I don't expect it to be long-lived, but with that, we could definitely see some immense volatility. Looking at the 4-hour time frame here, can't get overbought. We've got these bullish things going on, but we just can't get overbought. Lower highs, lower lows at the moment. We'll see how this, in the next hour and 59 minutes, this 4-hour closes. Again, not a lot of volume for this candle. It's a pretty sizable candle, so it'll validate itself a little bit more if we get some volume to come in. And if we do get volume to come in, if it is more validated as a bearish candle, a bearish engulfing candle at that, there's no reason why we couldn't go down to prices that are likely below 107K. All right, that's kind of the expectation here at the moment. But as long as we're above 107.5, I suppose there's a chance where we don't have to go lower. We could just be in a horizontal consolidation phase before we rip to the upside. The daily RSI is absurdly bullish right now. I shouldn't say absurdly bullish, just overall, it is bullish. Right here, it's kind of neutral, but with a bullish effect, I would say. We could go lower. I don't know why it's not drawing. That's so weird. Look at that. Let's see. Okay, now it's drawing. We could go lower to the 40 area, bounce off of there, get a higher low, and then continue to rally. We had a little bit of a downtrend. I think what we're doing now is we're substituting this downtrend here for a sideways trend, and then we're going to form an uptrend. So if that's the case, we're looking for a higher low in this daily RSI. And what better place to go than the 40? A drop like that from here to there, I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised. Something like that, you guys, it's even possible that we go below 105K. And we've got some serious liquidations going on over there, right? That's $8 billion at $103,000, right? We're only $4,400 away from that level. So it'll be interesting to see. The lowest that I would assume we go is probably like 103 to 102K, but I'm looking right now at that 105 to 106.5K area. That's where I'm looking personally right now. But anything can happen, that's for sure. Afterwards, probably once the Japanese, Korean trade deals are made, or at least the tariffs are dropped, they get some kind of pause, whatever, I'm assuming we'll pump. We are absolutely on the precipice of breaking out to new all-time highs. The markets are primed and ready, you guys. But we're just going to see a little bit of a dip before the rip. That's very common. Clear out these longs, pile on the shorts. Shorts fuel the upside, and once we break above 111K, you guys, it's going to be go time. So I don't really have anything else that I want to say. hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I don't think we're in jeopardy of going below 100K, but we really could be going down even as low as like 103 to 102K. But I would think we find support somewhere between like 105 to 106.5K. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.